What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sang, and today we're going to be reacting to a video from Zuby where it looks like he did an interview or a podcast with Bryson Gray, and the title of the video is "If Jesus Came Back Today, He Would Get Canceled." Ooh, you probably right. With how society is, you are probably right. But let's go ahead and get into it.
I was thinking, what would happen if Jesus not just came back, but if he came back and was like on Twitter and was vocal and stuff? And I was like, I think he'd get banned. I was like, I think he'd get banned. I think he'd be labeled an extremist, and I think he'd be labeled with the whole dangerous figure. I mean, he'd be either literally or metaphorically crucified again.
Oh, bro, he would be literally on the list of the ADL, and I don't even think Elon would let Jesus back on Twitter. Listen, I read the Bible a lot, and this make-believe Jesus that people try to act like is in the Bible, he ain't there. The real Jesus of the Bible is very blunt and very vocal, and it's why they got him in the first place. And yeah, if he was back, bro, he'll be one of the most persecuted. He'll be banned from countries. I mean, I know that because a lot of Bible believing people, I've watched them get banned from countries. You know what I'm saying?
What?
So and then you gotta think about it, bro.
I mean, then again, he was like, if you think the world hated you, just know it hated me first. Something like that. Look, I told y'all I'm new. I don't remember everything word for word, bar for bar. Can't tell you what book, what chapter and verse, but I know I read it and I know what's in there. All right. Society today would look at Jesus and be like, ugh, who is this guy? Like,
the way we view morality is a little different than how they view morality in biblical times. The punishments were a little different, even when Jesus, during his reign, during him like telling people what was going on, the punishments were a little different back then. So just imagine him calling for some of them punishments. Listen, man, the Jesus of the Bible, I mean, listen, persecution come with it. You literally get bad. A lot of people think, let me tell you something, bro. My merch company I'm with, right? My merch company, I have the same merch company as the Hodge Twins, and Joe Patrick and a few other ones. And I remember I had to meet with them because Facebook had blocked me from doing ads, and that's the merch. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I had to meet with them because they talk to Facebook. This like the company I work with. They're like I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. They're like a top company. Like they got direct connection with Facebook. And I had a meeting with them because they have had issues with Facebook before with Hodge Twins and Joe Patrick, but they were always able to get everything situated. With me, they couldn't, and I had to meet with them. And since I'm less popular than Hodge Twins and Joe Patrick, it was real crazy. They said it's not my political stuff. They said it's the religious stuff that's pretty much the line. Like I crossed the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it just shows you that being a conservative or having a conservative belief system, that can get you banned, but that's not the true people that they don't want on their platforms. It's really Christians, Bible believing Christians, who are really not allowed to spew their beliefs. The only reason conservatives get in the crossfire because a lot of conservative beliefs, people don't even understand how closely related they are to biblical beliefs.
Yeah, they are. Conservative morals and beliefs are so closely tied to like biblical beliefs. That's why it's interesting when you run across conservatives that are be like, no, I'm not religious. It's like, yo, you are literally like one step away. You might as well just jump in and come on over because you're like right there on the line.
It's a very interesting thing, man.
What do you think has played out over the past few decades? Because something that surprises me in the West, of course, I'm from the UK, but I spend more time in the US than I do in the UK now. I was in Australia recently, but I travel a lot. I've been to a lot of different countries, spend a lot of time in the Middle East. That's where I grew up. And something that's struck me is just in our own relatively short lifetimes, how much society and culture and as a result of that, politics has shifted. I mean, if you were to just go back a couple decades ago in the same countries, I'm not talking about in the Middle East, I'm talking about in the USA, in the UK, in Europe, and so on, when things were just more, if you want to use the term, conservative, I don't think that much of what you say or believe would be classified as remotely radical or far right or extreme or intolerable. In fact, a lot of the stuff that you question and a lot of the stuff that we combat, in fact, especially with some of the ideology that's being pushed out there and some of the ideas, that's the stuff that would have been considered radical and far beyond the pale and completely outside the Overton window. So it seems like in a matter of a couple decades, you've managed to shift the Overton window to such a stage that if somebody just stays still, and even a lot of liberal people have said this, by the way, people who are what I call sane liberals, right, who aren't super woke progressives, they've just stood still, and then everything else shifts, and they're finding themselves more aligned with conservatives now. How do you think that's played out?
So before he gives his answer, like, that's everything he described has literally happened. I remember, and I think I said this, I think in the Thanksgiving video, because we were talking about the holidays. When I was a kid, I would say the morals and values that the country had as a whole and how we thought about family time and being together is way different from now. Way different from now. Like when I was a kid, it was mandatory on holidays, nobody worked. It was guaranteed you were going to be off on a holiday. Nobody was going to be open. If anybody was open, it was probably a gas station. Basically, grocery stores weren't even open on like major holidays. And when I mean that, I mean like on your Thanksgiving and Christmas, you couldn't go to a grocery store to get like last minute anything. They were closed. As time went on, for me being a small child up until now, I have seen the shift where it's like everybody's off. Some people are off. Everybody got to work. Right? We went from everything being closed to everything is open. It don't matter what holiday it is. It don't matter what it is. We went from it was okay to say Merry Christmas to that is offensive because not everybody celebrates Christmas. You have to say Happy Holidays. It's like, what? There was a shift that happened. Mind you, I'm in my 30s, so this happened within a might as well say like a 3-decade time span. If I want to point out what I remember as a kid up until now, this took 3 decades. This happened pretty fast.
I've watched it, bro. I was my dad found my old files of my music I made in high school, and I found it interesting, right? Like the rap group I was in, how many times we dropped the British cigarette bomb in them songs.
Yeah.
And how normal it was. It wasn't even taboo. And then it made me sit here and think, bro, the stuff I'm saying now, I've always said it and it wasn't taboo. Matter of fact, this was mainstream. Like me, the things people call me radical for now was literally mainstream. You said a couple of decades, bro. I'm talking about 10, 11, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I used to write blogs. Yeah. I used to write blogs when I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I remember when the LGBT first started boycotting Chick-fil-A. I watched it with my own 2 eyes.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why is because
I was literally in my 20s when that happened.
One of the presidents of Chick-fil-A, they asked him for his opinion on same-sex marriage, and he said he opposed it. Mm-hmm. And that was enough for them to boycott. It wasn't about he didn't decline to serve a gay person or anything like mm-hmm. that. He disagreed with same-sex marriage, which is honestly the common thing amongst Christians. And they boycotted him. I remember this mm-hmm. I used to write blogs about it. When I was lukewarm, I used to be like, listen, I need to do better at following God, but this is clearly against the Bible. How are y'all boycotting somebody for simply having a different opinion, but y'all are saying they're the ones that's intolerant? That is mm-hmm. oxymoronic in nature. And even I was predicting things in the blog post, but even I couldn't predict what we're watching today. I promise you, like if you would ask me to guess 100 different things of what would have happened, I would not have guessed it'll went this far. And I was radical then too. Mm-hmm. So to watch it play out, bro, it's kind of scary of that shift. And I wonder if this, you travel to more places than me, so I wonder if this shift has happened in the Middle East. Like, is it the same sharp shift? Because I don't think so.
I don't think so. I really think it's just a Western thing, to be real with you. Like, because I feel like the Eastern countries, like when he said the Middle East and all that, what is it? The World Cup is in Qatar right now. They don't play out there. They don't play at all. They values that they've held on to, it seemed like they're still doing it. Now, if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comment section. But like, You couldn't even wear a pride flag t-shirt up in there because I think a journalist went to jail for that. Even though he knew the rules prior to, he still wore one anyways, thinking he was special. I think they sent him to jail for that. They do not play over there. It's really the West. The West is messed up. We all over the place. We just, it don't make sense. And it happened so fast. Like when he was talking about the Chick-fil-A thing, that guy was talking about what he did in his private time. He was just like, I don't believe in it. And he donated his money to other Christian organizations. And so, of course, they didn't believe in it. But, he's Christian. So that's what he did. So for them to be mad about what a Christian did not make sense in the slightest. Now, with that said, their food is still banging, though. They still have the best, they got the best customer service out of all the fast food joints. It's like some little angels work there. I have never had any issues at Chick-fil-A. You know what, out of all the years they've been around, the one issue I've had, which was recently, which was like months ago, because I think that's the last time I went. I literally went just to get a frozen coffee. I had the points. They were about to expire, so I'm like, ooh, no line. Let me go get it. That person, whoever made it, there's nothing frozen about that coffee. It was an iced coffee. It was just straight liquid. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what? I'm the only one here. What were you rushing for? What's wrong with this? It's the only time I've ever been disappointed by Chick-fil-A. That's the only time out of all the years I went. Any other time, perfect. Perfect service. Little angels work there. I don't care what y'all say. That food immaculate, they good with me. But what did you guys think about the video? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss when I drop a video. And until next time, you already know who it is. It's Sang.